We are really getting close to the finish line now, so let's take a look at writing the executive summary. This is the shortest bit of writing that you should do. Maybe comparable, I guess, to your narrative for the financial section. It should really only be 2 pages long. Most folks would tell you that if you finish the first page and you get started on the second page ought to be at least about 2/3 full, or it looks kind of silly. And in addition, you don't really want to go past that 2 pages. Okay, and that you're going to have to make sure that your fonts and spacings and all those things are consistent with the rest of your paper. Okay, so you got to put all that together and try to get this thing in at 2 pages. Okay. This is your best chance to make an impression. As a former banker, I reviewed a bunch of business plans. Believe me, you'd get the plan, you would read the executive summary. If and only if it made sense, would you then open it up and take a look at the other things? And for me, that was typically going to the financials, the spreadsheets and whatnot that might have been included. And so it's that important that, yes, there were several plans that came across my desk that when I had finished the executive summary, I basically folded the plan up and said no. So this is your chance. This is where you have to make that impression. So what do we put in there? Well, we basically follow, and hopefully I got these kind of in order anyhow, we basically follow the same order that our plan should be in, right, when we put the whole plan together. So we're gonna first talk about just briefly what the company is. Okay, probably on our cover page. Company, we might include our mission statement on that cover page. Okay. That's perfectly fine. If you've written a really good mission statement, that might go on the cover page. Okay, the cover page is your place if you want to get a little bit artistic, and you certainly don't have to. But if you want to, you could. You could include pictures if that's appropriate for the business. Those types of things are okay for the cover page. Okay. If the mission statement doesn't, if you don't put that on the cover page, you can certainly just include that in the marketing, right? Which is basically this part here. Okay. And then next, of course, we'll go through these all a little bit too. But the management organization, the business description, and then the financials, and you have to end with a funding requirement. So what do you need? Do you need investors, or do you need a loan, or both in some cases? Okay, and you have to make the ask, right? That should be your conclusion. Will you join us on this venture? Words to that effect that get your point across that you're actually asking for an investment or a loan, one or the other, or both. Okay. So the company name, address, full. I guess I got the business description here. I got it in twice, and this is the proper order. I should eliminate that other one, and I will. Sorry, I kind of got carried away this morning. But the name, address, the contact information, the basics have to be there. The full legal name and or doing business as. And what do I mean by that? Oftentimes a corporate name is different than the business name. I'll give you one example. You guys are familiar with Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Pizza Hut. Okay, they are owned by a company that's called Yum Brands, Y-U-M Brands. Okay, so it's Yum Brands Inc. So you have Pizza Hut doing business as. You have Yum Brands Inc. doing business as Pizza Hut. Okay, Pizza Hut of Havre, whatever the case may be, and so there are corporations that would do that. They might have a holding company, corporation, and then doing business as a different name underneath. Our bank, when I was at there, the corporate name was Montana Security Inc. The bank obviously was Independence Bank, so 2 different things. So. And then a brief description of the business. And in this case, put the most important part, and that's going to vary for each business, right? For some of you, your location may be the most important part because you're going to attract customers that way. Some of you may be, I don't think I have any in this class, but I've had classes where your presence is strictly online. Okay, and so your business description then obviously is going to vary, and again, you're just summarizing the most important part. So pick out the the part of that business or the description of that business that's most compelling to an investor and or the customer. So mission statement having, again, that could appear either on the cover page and or, I mean, it could be in both, or the marketing, right? So in the marketing, you're going to summarize probably the strategy. Okay, right. Strategy is usually broken down. You're kind of either low cost or differentiating. What are the target segments that you're shooting for? Okay, and there should probably be one or two. Our primary segment is senior citizens age 65 to 80, or secondary is mature adults 55 to 65. Right. What are the tactics you're going to use? And then briefly touch on the competition. This isn't where you would talk about each individual competitor, but you might say, hey, we have 6 competitors in the region, etc. Management, right? You've given your organizational structure, so it's a short discussion. Again, pull out the most important things, probably the qualifications of you guys as managers or whoever the managers may be, and really highlight those things that are going to be most important to the investor. I'm going to skip over that because I should delete that. And I will delete it before I get that reposted. And then a financial summary, and pick out the important things. What the sales are that you're projecting, and how maybe you arrived at that number. What the profits are, and again, kind of how you arrived at that. Why you think you have good growth potential. And I always liked break-even points, and I think if you look at your spreadsheet, your break-even points kind of in there, maybe even done automatically for you. And as a banker, I always liked break-even points. Oftentimes, and I say this because oftentimes people would come in with pie-in-the-sky types of projections. Geez, we're going to do $1 million and be rich in 3 years. And I'd look at it and think, there's no way these guys are going to do $1 million. But if I looked at the break-even point and they only needed to do $200,000 to break even, it still might make sense. Okay, and so I really liked break-even points. It kind of was a little bit more realistic. And then needed funds. What do you need from investors or lenders? Okay, and oftentimes it might be both. Okay, you got to go back. This is going to be on that starting point spreadsheet that you have, and what you have down there at the bottom. If you have other investors that are listed down there, okay, that's what you need. If you have loans that are listed down there. Now, if one of your loans is a credit card loan, no, that's not who you're asking for, because obviously you'll just go get your advance on the credit card if you have that. But other loans that would be from banks or perhaps other financial institutions or people. And then you ask for support, or you make the ask for the actual loan or the investment. There you have it. So again, put some time into this. Make sure you're proofreading it. Make darn sure. This is one we don't get to fix, right? You're going to turn this one in, and that's going to be a part of the plan basically that you turn in, and so you won't get to fix it. So make sure you do a good job on it. The first time, make sure it's proofread, take it over, have somebody else proofread it. If you have partners, certainly all of you want to proofread it, but even then you may want to have somebody else take a look at it. So thanks and good luck.